My name is Ali Zyati, and I'm associate professor at the Marietta College. I'm a media professor, and it is from that vantage point that I look at the media practices when it comes to when it comes down to their relationship with sports and the world of or the politics of sports. And one area that is actually concerns me deeply is this tendency of media to invest in sports more and more worldwide. And, and it's wrong from my part to just say investing in sports, because sports is a lot more than just sports. It is politics, it's economic, it's ideological, and it's global. And if you have control over this particular sports, this meaning, the meaning I'm giving it to sports in general, then you have control over almost everything in the world. Audiences, governments, what, when they consume, total manipulation of the markets, total manipulation of even where so-and-so event is going to be based, what to give to this government, what to take in return. And in this sense, I can tell you, if we continue to do exactly the same as I'm looking at it, then the place and the role of governments, local governments, international political bodies and all of that, the United Nations and everything, are gonna be gone for good. And the new powerful global controller would be FIFA. That's the aim, that's the purpose, that's the message of my presentation in this event. It's just like that scary look at the world of sports in relation, in media, in it. What I presented was actually just like the case of Al Jazeera Sports and how Al Jazeera moved from being a channel that's basically being that was celebrated in the mainstream, not the mainstream, but in the streets of the Arab world as a voice that gave the underdog, gave the average Arab person a voice, and how for once since its inception, the average, the ordinary person in the Arab world felt like, yeah, there is somebody who talks to them and about them and represents them very well, and with the power, with authority. And from that point, it created some kind of controversy, conflicts among individual countries, even within the country itself, and how it moved from being that celebrated to using it as almost as an opportunity. And by moving from politics, without moving away from politics, because Al Jazeera News still exists, but just investing more in sports, they are kind of like becoming a double sword kind of thing. You know, looking at you as a person, as a voice, as the purpose and aim of all their activities and all of that, at the same time looking at you as a potential consumer. And these two together don't match, because you are either doing it, well, that's not either, because I know for sure that they're not doing it on and they're not unconscious about it, because they are very aware of what they're doing. And to the point now that they are actually the only organization in the Arab world, or the only business, or the only media form or outlet in the Arab world that actually controls what to show, when to show, to whom to show, with how much money you should pay to be able to have access to. And I mean, that's, so that to trace that development of being celebrated as, to the point that they're looking at the very person they were speaking for as a commodity, as a consumer, pure and simple, because they have the right to cover the games to the Arab world, and nobody else does. And in order to be able to watch all the games, you have to pay as a government, as a country, in order to be able to receive that. And either that, or you have to subscribe. And of course, the subscription, I mean, it's kind of like a very expensive thing. The average person cannot really afford to subscribe in Al Jazeera package to be able to get like games on HD or even 3D, as I heard they're going to be experimenting in Morocco. I mean, that's pretty expensive for the average person to do. So there is a market, and the World Cup, the significance of World Cup is way beyond anything we can actually imagine, because World Cup is an event that a bit more than Olympics, if you think about it. It's a lot more than the Olympics, and it's a big opportunity for money-making machines to shine. Well, first of all, I mean, there is a little bit of pressure on local governments, yes, indeed. That's a benefit. Pressure to modernize, that's a benefit. Pressure to speed up the process of modernization, that's benefits, because we know like how long it takes for us to build like one street, for instance, or fix something. That's a benefit. To at least instill that kind of sense of identity. Once again, that's the revival thing. That's to bring all Africans together as like one event, the biggest event in the history. I mean, it's organized in Africa. That's also a benefit. But what it's not a benefit is when global conglomerates basically, and regional too, use that as an opportunity to make more profits. That's not a benefit. That's not a benefit. If that's shared with the people to whom or from whom this money is coming, that would be a benefit. But it's not. If it's only to make the wealthy wealthier and the rich richer, and the poor would remain the same way, that's not a benefit. So that's my point. Yeah.